Hello everyone, today, we're looking closely at an amazing tale from the world of American money. We're talking about a group of Susan B. Anthony dollar coins that seem quite normal when you first see them. However, some of these dollars have become recognized as some of the most valuable coins made in modern times. These are not just common pieces you find in your spare change. A few have brought in very high prices, and some especially rare ones have sold for over $100,000 at big sales. So, let's get started and find out why these small dollar coins have such important stories. One of the most exciting coins in this group is the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar. This coin has a large date and a strange mark error from the Philadelphia Mint. Even if this coin is scratched, used, or looks old, it can still be one of the hardest to find pieces in the whole set. It looks completely regular at first, just another dollar you wouldn't notice. But when you look closer, you start to see signs that something unusual happened when it was made at the Mint. In 1979, the Philadelphia Mint usually didn't put a letter mark on their dollar coins. But during some early tests and first steps of making them, a few of these dollars were accidentally marked with a P for Philadelphia. Some were stamped lightly, some were stamped twice, and some had the letter placed slightly wrong. These small mistakes made a rare type of coin that collectors now see as a hidden prize. Most of these mistake coins never went out to the public. Many were melted down, others were found during checkups. Only a small number still exist, and the ones that survived are extremely valuable today. The Anthony dollar was created to make the American dollar better and work well in things like soda machines and bus systems. But people didn't like the size, and the coin didn't become popular. It was only made for a few years, with a final run in 1999. That first year, 1979, was full of issues, new equipment, new coin molds, fast deadlines, and workers trying to meet the demand. From all this confusion came this rare mark variation. Some of the mistake coins show letters stamped twice. Some have broken or missing shapes, others look as if they were hit more than once. To coin collectors, these tiny errors show the story of what was happening inside the busy mint at that time. What makes the large date Philadelphia coin so special is that it got through the system before anyone knew there was a problem. Even if a coin looks very worn, a small magnifying glass can show the doubled letter P and the odd shape of the number 9 in the date. Many experts think these mistakes came from the first tools used before the Mint finished setting up their machines and pressure levels. That makes them highly wanted today, but the story doesn't end there. While Anthony dollars were normally made from copper and nickel, a few very rare coins were stamped on leftover silver metal pieces. These pieces were originally meant for the larger Eisenhower dollars and contained 40% silver. Tests later proved that these mix-ups truly happened. If one of these coins feels a little heavier, shines brighter, or makes a clear sound when tapped, it might be one of these rare silver mistakes. Coins like this have sold for unbelievable amounts. One was sold for more than $397,000. Another, which had a big crack on its surface, sold for over $200,000. Collectors love these pieces because they connect to different times in U.S. coin-making history in one single accident. The picture on these mistake coins is the same as any other Anthony dollar, a strong image of Susan B. Anthony on the front, and the Apollo 11 moon landing eagle on the back. But on the error pieces, some small parts look a little different. Some show lighter stamping on the eagle's wings or on Anthony's face. These differences came from the mint changing machines, tools, or molds while they were working. Even the scratches on used coins prove something collectors enjoy, that the coin went out to people before anyone realized it shouldn't exist. Millions of Anthony dollars were made in 1979, but only a tiny number of this specific large-date Philadelphia error are known today. Collectors guess only a few dozen exist at all, and maybe 10 are in good shape for collecting. That's why sales become very active whenever one appears. Collectors value these coins not just because they are rare, they see a deeper meaning. Susan B. Anthony worked hard for fairness and opportunity. Her coin struggled to be accepted, much like the causes she fought for. These rare mistake coins, unusual, forgotten, and misunderstood, show that same spirit. For collectors, owning one feels like holding a small, powerful piece of American history. Experts think we still haven't seen the highest prices. As more people learn about modern mint mistakes, interest keeps growing. Some believe the next best example, especially one proven to be struck on silver, could easily sell for over $300,000 at a big sale. Next up, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar from the San Francisco Mint, with a rarest mark mistake and the large date design, is one of the most unbelievable finds in modern American collecting. At first, the coin doesn't look special. It's the same small dollar coin most people ignored in the late 1970s and early 1980s, but the moment you look closer, when you turn it under a bright light, check the surfaces, and study the small S mint mark, you start to see signs that this coin is anything but common. If you hold one, you'll see its usual gray color. It's made of copper and nickel, but on coins kept in good shape, the surface still shines with a clean metal look. Some pieces show gentle wear from being moved around in pockets and registers long ago. Others still have bright, mirror-like surfaces from being handled with care. On the front, Susan B. Anthony's strong face stands tall, showing the fairness and bravery she stood for. On the back, the eagle landing on the moon reminds us of one of America's great successes. It is a modern design full of deep meaning, but the real story, the one that excites collectors, is in the mint mark. In 1979, the San Francisco Mint made many of the nation's special, high-quality coins for collectors, called proof coins. The S mark was supposed to be sharp, clear, and perfectly shaped. But during the first runs, in 1979, something went wrong. Some of the tools used to stamp the mark got damaged or filled up. Others became worn out or were not lined up correctly. This caused the S on some coins to look odd. Sometimes it was filled in. Sometimes it looked like it was stamped twice, and sometimes it had a small lump of metal inside the letter. These mistakes created a group of coins, now called the S mint mark errors, and the large date version is one of the most valuable. These mistakes didn't happen for long. Once the mint realized the mark looked wrong, they changed the tools. This means only a very small number of coins, just a tiny fraction of the total, were made with the faulty S. The rest were corrected. That's why the large date 1979 S error coins are so hard to find today. Out of millions of Anthony dollars made, only a few show this unusual mark. The mystery gets even bigger. When the mint changed from the Big Eisenhower dollar to the smaller Anthony dollar, they still had metal pieces, called blanks, left over from earlier years that had 40% silver. These were not supposed to be used for the new dollar. But in the rush of changing tools, machines, and production lines, a few of those silver blanks slipped into the presses. The mint did not notice the error. A few Anthony dollars were wrongly struck on silver. These rare pieces feel a little heavier, they shine brighter. And when you tap them softly, they make a clearer ringing sound than the regular copper-nickel coins. These small signs have led collectors to test coins they suspect, and some were proven to be real silver blank mistakes. A normal-looking dollar suddenly became a mix of two parts of U.S. history, a mistake so special that collectors still talk about it. The 1979 S large date error doesn't need silver to be valuable. The faulty S mark alone is enough to turn a common-looking coin into a treasure. But when all three things appear together, the large date, the S mark mistake, and the silver blank, you are looking at one of the rarest modern U.S. coins ever found. One officially checked coin with a filled S and a bright, silver look sold for over $215,000 in a private deal. Another, with a different tool flaw and lightware, was valued at over $195,000. These numbers shocked collectors and dealers. After all, this coin came out in 1979, a time many people remember clearly. This isn't an ancient rarity from the 1700s. This is a modern coin from the same time as early home computers and cable TV, yet today, it sells for prices as high as old gold pieces. Collectors today look at every 1979 S dollar with a magnifying glass. They check the mint mark, its shape, its depth, the tiny spaces inside the S. They check the date to be sure it has the large style numbers. They check the coin's weight and how it sounds. Because with this coin, you never know what you might find. A coin that looks ordinary at first glance could be one of the rarest modern mistakes ever discovered. And that is the fun of collecting. Great treasures don't always come from pirate chests or old shipwrecks. Sometimes, they come from the most unexpected places, from the change people once kept in their purses or old jars. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar, with its rare mark mistake, proves that modern coins can hold mystery, history, and unbelievable value. If you've ever wondered whether an ordinary-looking coin could hide an extraordinary story, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar is the perfect example. People handle these coins without a second thought, tossing them into drawers, coin jars, or parking meters, but a few Denver minted pieces from that year hold surprises so extreme that their auction prices have reached eye-watering levels. Most collectors never expect a modern coin to climb into six-figure territory, yet the 1979 D has produced some of the most astonishing mint-era discoveries of the last few decades. What makes these finds so remarkable is how unremarkable they appear at first glance. Many of the valuable ones show the exact kind of wear you'd expect from a coin that passed through everyday hands: faint scratches, softened shine, and edges dulled by time. That kind of ordinary circulation makes the truth even more unbelievable. Some of these regular 1979 D dollars aren't regular at all. Under the surface lies evidence of minting mishaps that only experts can spot, and those hidden details are what transform a pocket piece into a treasure. To understand how these unusual coins came to exist, we need to step back to the late 1970s. The U.S. Mint wanted to replace the larger Eisenhower dollar with something smaller and more convenient. Hoping Americans would finally adopt a dollar coin in daily life, they chose Susan B. Anthony as the face of the new design, an honor meant to recognize her lifelong work for voting rights and equality. The reverse featured a bold, moon-landing eagle inspired by the Apollo mission. On paper, it looked like a forward-thinking idea. In reality, the public struggled with it. The coin looked too much like a quarter, same color, almost the same size, and confusion spread quickly. But while people were busy ignoring the Anthony dollar, something far more interesting was happening on the production floor of the Denver Mint. The facility was running at full speed to meet demand, striking hundreds of millions of coins. And whenever production reaches that level of urgency, tiny mechanical mistakes can slip through, no matter how careful workers are. A blank from the wrong batch slips into the machinery. A die shifts just slightly off its intended mark. A strike hits twice instead of once. These errors are unintentional, unpredictable, and incredibly desirable in today's collector market. Some of the most valuable 1979 D errors involve the coin being struck on a planchette that never belonged there. While the Anthony dollar should be made from copper nickel, stray blanks from other coin programs occasionally entered the press. A few pieces were struck on metal that was too thick, too heavy, or of a different composition altogether. These coins don't shout their differences, you notice them only through weight, sound, or how the metal reflects light. Another dramatic category involves off-center strikes. When a blank sits incorrectly under the die, the design lands far from where it should. Mild versions are common. But when a coin shows a bold off-center strike and still reveals the date and mint mark, collectors go wild. A sharply struck, highly visible 1979 D off-center error has been known to push past the six-figure mark, and those are the kinds of coins that spark bidding wars. Denver also produced a handful of pieces with multiple strikes. These errors occur when the coin remains in the press after the first hit, receiving a second or even third impression. The result is a dramatic layering of outlines and shadows, creating a coin that looks frozen mid-motion. Because multiple strike errors are so visually striking, they're considered showpieces. One of the best-known examples of a 1979 D multiple strike sold for well over $100,000 after being confirmed by a grading service. Even coins without major errors can be worth significant money if they survive in exceptional condition. The Denver Mint's fast-paced production often resulted in contact marks and less than perfect surfaces. That makes high-grade survivors extremely scarce. A true MS-68 or MS-69 specimen from 1979 D could command a massive price, possibly entering six-figure territory if the market's enthusiasm continues to grow. Collectors also look for die state signs that the dies used to strike the coins were wearing down. These can create raised lines, soft details, or unusual patterns. On their own, these traits aren't worth much, but combined with a major mint error, they can significantly boost value. One thing remains constant through every discovery: the design itself carries deep meaning. Anthony's portrait conveys determination, The stars symbolize the original states. And the lunar eagle ties the coin to one of humanity's greatest achievements. When a rare mint mistake appears on a design with history behind it, collectors take notice. What makes all of this even more incredible is where these six-figure coins often come from. Not from experts, often not even from collectors, but from ordinary people sorting through old containers of loose change. One major multiple strike piece, later sold for over $120,000, was almost thrown away by someone who assumed it was damaged. Only after showing it to a professional did they learn the truth. That's the thrill behind the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar. None of these valuable pieces were meant to survive. The mint intended to catch errors, melt them down, and recycle the metal. But a small number slipped out, and those survivors now hold values as high as $145,000 or more. Some experts even believe that the next major wrong planchette discovery could exceed $150,000. So if you ever come across a 1979 D. Anthony dollar, whether in a coin roll, a drawer, or a dusty box, slow down and take a careful look. Check the weight, the edges, the details, and the alignment. What looks like an ordinary coin could actually be a rare error with a story tied to history, human mistakes, and the possibility of a truly astonishing value.